Hand over the $40,000 to your sister, or your wedding's off. My mother unleashed her fury on me during our engagement party. I stood my ground and refused. She struck me so forcefully I slammed into the wall. Then my fiancé's father intervened, and his words erased the smugness from her face. Hey Reddit, I'm 29, and I've spent most of my adult years trying to carve out a life free from my family's turmoil. My mom has always had a favorite, and sadly, it's never been me. That privilege has always gone to my younger sister, Kayla, who's 26, charming, spoiled, and a master at manipulating our mother growing up. Kayla was handed everything she desired. When she crashed her first car, Mom replaced it with a shinier model. When I asked for help with college fees, I was told to find a job. When Kayla flunked a semester due to excessive partying, Mom pointed fingers at her teachers. When I graduated with honors, Mom barely showed up to celebrate. So when I got engaged to my wonderful fiancé, Andrew, I planned to keep my family at arm's length. I wanted a simple celebration with people who genuinely cared about us. But Andrew, ever the kind soul, persuaded me to invite Mom and Kayla to the engagement party, hoping it might mend things. I should have trusted my gut. The party started smoothly, hosted at Andrew's parents' home, a modest but warm gathering filled with love. His parents, by the way, are incredible. Supportive, respectful, affluent, yet grounded. They've always treated me like one of their own. Things unraveled about an hour in when Mom cornered me in the kitchen, her eyes blazing. She didn't mince words. Give Kayla the $40,000 or this wedding's canceled. I blinked, thinking I'd misheard. What? She raised her voice, venomous. Kayla wants to start a salon. She needs money for the deposit. You're spending too much on this wedding anyway. Be a good sister. Help her. I stared, stunned. I'm not giving her $40,000, Mom. That's my savings for our house, our honeymoon, our life. Her tone shifted to crocodile tears. You're selfish. Kayla's your sister. Family comes first. I shook my head and turned to leave. That's when she slapped me hard across the face. I stumbled, crashing into the pantry door. The room fell silent. Andrew rushed in from the hallway, followed by his father, Alan. Before I could say a word, Mom whirled around, shouting, You raised her to be greedy. As if this was their fault, Alan, calm and collected, stepped between us. Ma'am, you need to leave. Mom glared as if he'd insulted her lineage. You don't know who I am. She owes us everything. We supported her for years. Alan's calm facade dropped. Actually, I know exactly who you are, he said. He turned to me, gently asking if I was okay. My cheeks stung, but I nodded. Then he faced Mom and delivered words I'll never forget. You mean the daughter you kicked out at 18 with no money, no college fund, and told to fend for herself? The one who worked her way through school while you funded her sister's lavish lifestyle. Mom's face drained of color. I hired a private investigator when she started dating my son, Alan continued. I wanted to ensure he wasn't with someone dangerous. Instead, I found a woman who juggled 3 jobs to graduate. A woman who had no support from her own family. A woman who built her life from nothing. He turned to the guests who'd gathered after the commotion. This woman tried to extort her daughter into giving up her future for her other daughter's salon. When that didn't work, she struck her. In my home, Mom's jaw dropped, but no words came. Kayla stood behind her, motionless. Alan stepped forward. You're no longer welcome here, not at this party, not at the wedding, not in her life. Mom looked for allies, but no one stepped up, not even Kayla, who stood with arms crossed, lips pursed, likely plotting her next move. When security, yes, Alan employs private security for events, escorted them out, I finally exhaled. My body trembled, not from fear, but from the shock of someone finally defending me. It should have been Mom or Kayla, but it was Alan, a man I'd known for barely a year who stood up for me more than my own family ever had. The party tried to resume normally. Guests smiled, offered congratulations, and Andrew held my hand tightly. But I kept replaying the slap in my mind, wondering how things had spiraled so far. Later that night, Kayla texted me. You're letting some rich guy humiliate Mom like that? Fix this, she's devastated. I didn't reply, I blocked her number, but I didn't feel triumphant, just empty, exhausted, and sad. No matter how many boundaries I set, they always came back with guilt, shame, and demands that I sacrifice everything for them. Andrew held me as I cried that night, not urging me to be strong or move on, just offering silent comfort. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. The next morning, an unknown number called. I don't usually answer, but something told me to pick up. It was Kayla, her voice icy and controlled. You think this is over? You owe me, and I always get my way. Then she hung up. That's when I realized this wasn't just family drama anymore. It was a battle. After her threat, I braced for retaliation but underestimated her persistence. It started small. Fake accounts flooded my Instagram with cruel comments. Andrew's mom received anonymous messages calling me a gold digger. A one-star review appeared on my small freelance business, accusing me of fraud despite no physical products being involved. I knew it was Kayla. She'd pulled petty stunts like this before. But now, after I denied her $40,000 and embarrassed Mom, she was out to ruin me. I considered involving the police, but the evidence was flimsy. Being spiteful online isn't a crime. So I did what I'd always done. I pushed forward, focusing on wedding plans and my future with Andrew. 3 weeks before the wedding, a certified letter arrived at our apartment from an attorney. Kayla and Mom were suing me, claiming I'd promised Kayla $40,000 for her salon and backed out, causing emotional distress and business losses. I was floored. There was no contract, no texts, no proof. It was ludicrous. Andrew took the letter to Alan, a former lawyer turned financier. Within a day, his legal team sent a response daring them to take it to court. A week later, the lawsuit was dropped, but the toll was heavy. My stress skyrocketed. I couldn't sleep, my skin erupted, and I lost weight. As a bride-to-be, I should have felt joy, but instead I felt hunted, cornered, and drained. Then came the real blow. Alan called us to his office, his tone cautious. "You need to see this," he said, turning his monitor toward us. It was security footage from the night of the engagement party. Kayla had returned after being escorted out, waiting until midnight, climbing the fence in heels and sneaking to the backyard. She didn't break in but tore down decorations, slashed balloons with scissors, and poured soda over the outdoor speakers. Then she keyed one of Alan's cars. It was all recorded every moment. I stared, feeling a chill. I wanted to believe she was just angry that she'd calmed down, but this was deliberate. Alan clasped his hands. "I haven't pressed charges yet, but this is criminal behavior. What do you want to do?" For the first time, I didn't waver. "Call the police." He nodded. 2 days later, Kayla was arrested for trespassing and property damage. She spent a night in holding before Mom bailated her out. The next morning, they showed up at my apartment. Mom looked haggard. Kayla hid behind sunglasses despite the overcast sky. "You did this to her?" Mom spat. "You had her arrested over balloons?" "Over a keyed car," I countered. "Over trespassing, over stalking." "She's your sister," Mom yelled. "You're destroying her life." "No," I said. "She's destroying her own, and I'm done fixing her messes." Mom stepped closer, and I flinched slightly. Andrew noticed and stepped between us. "That's enough," he said. "Come near her again, and we'll get a restraining order." Mom sneered, turning to me with a trembling voice. "You've changed. You think you're above us now with your rich fiancé and fancy wedding." I didn't respond. I shut the door in her face. The wedding day arrived, and surprisingly, I felt calm, even serene. The venue was stunning, sunlight filtering through the trees, surrounded by people who truly loved me. Alan walked me down the aisle. Not because my father was gone, he's alive. Just absent since he and Mom divorced when I was 15, moving states away and starting over. Alan offered, and I accepted without hesitation. As I walked toward Andrew, it felt like stepping out of one life into another. There were no disruptions, no uninvited guests. Kayla and Mom were banned with discreet security in place. Our vows were heartfelt and raw. When Andrew promised to never let me fight alone again, I teared up. We danced, laughed, and celebrated without fear. For our honeymoon, we went to Iceland. No cell service, just glaciers, waterfalls, and peace. When we returned, a letter awaited in our mailbox, no return address, but I recognized Mom's handwriting. It read, "You've made your choice. Don't come crawling back when it falls apart." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I'd built something better, a family that chose me without ultimatums or conditions. It's been 6 months. Kayla pled guilty, receiving community service and restitution. Mom still sends occasional letters. I don't open them. I've blocked them both everywhere. Sometimes I grieve the family I wished for, but mostly I feel liberated, like I've escaped a lifelong tempest. I'll never let them pull me back. This time I chose myself, and I have no regrets.